The following is brought to you in part by System Blue. Products and education. System Blue.
The hardest part is getting the bolts inside there because I can't see. My hands are like almost too big to fit all the way into the toe. But I got it! During a part of our show, there's a moment where some snare drummers and quad drummers put shoes on their hands and they play a drum break with them on their hands. So we are creating our own tap shoes for them. We took a lot of our old marching shoes that we have stored up and we have to add a tap to them. So this is the finished product. We have a tap made of 2 washers that kind of jingle together to get a little extra metal sound and they tap against the wood. And it's kind of hard to play with just your hand like slid in there, so we have added cabinet handles to the inside. So we've been learning how to kind of make our own tap shoes over the past several days, and now we finally have everything we need to put them all together.
Well, we just got a rain delay for the Denver show, so we'll see what happens. Hopefully we'll get to perform.
Oh, did you hear that? That was thunder!
Yeah, it's raining a lot. It's hilarious. That's the stadium right there.
I want to do my show, but I'm scared. So we're at Mile High Stadium right now. We're supposed to be warming up, but it's really hard outside, so we're just waiting around and having a party.
Yo, it's your boy, Jay Stackity Stack, and we having a party over here!
Just got word that it finally got rained out, but the brasses and the battery is still going to do a standstill performance, and the color guard gets to just go home and kick it.
Stand still, baby.
From an early age, my family's very musical, and I was kind of brought into music, and I fell in love with the process of practicing and being a musician at a very young age. And my dad actually marched drum corps in '78, '79, and he was actually my first band director too. And he would show me all kinds of videos, and we would listen to CDs in the car of the Blue Devils. And I remember I would fall in love with the sounds and the shows, and he really pushed me to work hard. And he always told me, you know, talent can get you so far, but if you don't put the work in, you'll never achieve your full potential. And to be a Blue Devil, you have to achieve your full potential. And that's just the foundation upon which we do everything. So you have to be the best version of yourself every single day. And, you know, passion is important, but passion is only driven to success by work ethic. So.
We just finished the ballad, and then we transitioned to what is called Theater of the Absurd. What's happening is the boys are coming out portraying this like masculine image, really stuck up, nose in the air, and that's kind of what we're giving out. We do a lot of absurd movement, like for example this shimmy. We also do this straddle Russian jump. After that we go into this, they call it a donkey kick. We go into a planche roll. After this planche roll, again we go more into absurd movement, where after you see a planche roll, which is more classical, we go into this fish dive where we dive and our arms are up to our sides and we're horizontal to the ground. Again, showing absurd movement. Because it's the theater of the absurd, and what I get from it is usually girls dance when it comes to like a big dance scene. But what I'm trying to portray is that boys dance differently than girls, and that I'm trying to give more masculine energy than feminine energy.
Right in the beginning of scene 5, I begin my mute solo. What's difficult about the mute solo is that with the mute, your partials are going to be changing a lot. And in the solo, there's a lot of interval jumps, which makes it super difficult. I have to be very, very precise. I have to control my breath. It's a really strong character change that helps us get into absurd theater.
I think that the absurd part of this section is just the idea that we have this whole percussion feature, that's a whole movement of our show, but we're not playing drums for any of it. It's kind of, in terms of the standards of this activity, it's can be seen as a little bit ridiculous and definitely risky to take your percussion feature section and not play your drums. Well, when we first got the music for this section, we just didn't know what it was going to turn into exactly. We got these parts, and Scott told us we were going to have shoes on our hands, so we were kind of thinking, all right, we'll see what this turns into, I guess. As we started to develop it more and more, we started seeing how it could come to life and really be a cool and fun part of the show. It's very unique and it's very fun and a bit comedic. It's become a really fun and energetic section for us as we just get to really connect with the audience and show them how much of a good time we're having. And it has its own challenges because there is a big accelerando in it. It is still difficult rhythms to play all together. The surface we're playing on is really, really articulate. So any changes in timing or rhythm from one person to the next will cause dirt just like it does on the drums. So we still have to pay just as close attention to that as we would if we were playing a normal percussion feature on our drums.
So things start to pick up and the tap shoes and the front ensemble do this accelerando. Start really slow and then the tap shoes kind of lead this acel and I'm following them. So during the accelerando, since I am the drum set player, the front ensemble kind of follows me for tempo and I follow the drum line with the tap shoes for tempo. And it's hard to follow because I don't usually follow tap shoes during the show. I usually listen for snare drums and tenor drums and bass drums and whatnot. It's honestly a lot of pressure. It's one of the hardest parts of the show for me.
The horn line joins with the guard and does this choreography, which is probably one of my favorite parts of the show because we get the chance to kind of be just movers. It has all these different like shapes and kind of ideas and like faces and really big expressions, and so it's just kind of like exploring the extremes of what you can do as a performer.
So with absurd theater comes the idea of nothing really matters. That's why you see the snare drummers in the quads with shoes on their hands, and you see really, really awkward positioning while playing. Some of the brass is sitting crisscross applesauce, playing their 16th note lick, really showcasing the character of that kind of theater and how absurd that is.
on Inside BD360.
So today our goal is to just kind of update the closer and the ending of the show and just make it as best as possible.
They're going across the stage. It's really fun. I hope no one falls.
We got this. Clear of us. Please smile.